creating views for purpose with VIEWWorx. So essentially, you have your models created, or you're in the process of laying out your plans, sections, elevations, things of that nature. So we'll walk through how to create these views very quickly and easily. And then once the views are created, how to create your drawings with just one click, and also be able to take those same views and bring them into your template so you have a little bit more control over different design styles and different drawing styles as you're walking through that process. And finally, we quickly sync your plan sections and details. So instead of using the Ortho, which can take quite a while to reset every single time a change happens in your model, we're simply using XREF in this process. So if anything changes in the model, all you have to do is reload that XREF and go right into it. So let's take a look at Plant 3D and get a few work cases set up here. So we're working out of the sample project that comes with Plant 3D. So if any of you are familiar with that, we're just kind of working in the lower right-hand corner. We're going to take a look at a couple of these exchangers and create some detailed drawings for the control stations in front of this guy here. So we have our panel up here. So under the ECEWorks plugins, we've got a list of all of our products, and under VIEWWorx, we're simply just going to walk through a couple of these tabs up here and just kind of show you a little bit of how this can help you with your Plant 3D workflow. So now that we have our idea in place of what we want to go after with our drawings, we're going to take a look at creating these WORXBoxes, and it's a good idea to name these WORXBoxes that goes something along with either the drawing name or the purpose of the view itself. So these two exchangers are called exchanger 1001 and 1002, and so we're going to start with that name and then simply move into which views we want to work with. So on the first one here, we're just going after this control station, so we want to look at the right-hand side of that. These are all based off of the user coordinate system for the world. So you've got your world coordinate system up here. If you ever need to kind of get a quick reference, the ViewCube does a pretty good job of letting you know which view we're working with here. And then we simply insert these by selecting components. As you select each object, we're going to build a box around that object, allowing you to easily encompass everything you need inside of that view. Once you've decided that that's enough components to work with, you can still manipulate it from there. So once we highlight this guy, we can simply grab these grip points, drag it up or down, get a little bit more precise with it, working with it. You can stretch it over, tie it into O-snaps and things of that nature if you need to be exact and precise for like elevation, footings, things of that nature. And then finally, as we go through this process, just being able to update them, rename them, or change them. So you can double click update, or we also give you a little icon over here to work with. So if we choose the update, it allows you to rename them or choose different views as you go through that process. So we have the first one done. Let's quickly walk through and create the second one. Doesn't matter the order you pick these in, as long as you're picking the components and they're getting dropped in there. So you can see I didn't rename it. I didn't choose a different view. So we do have some protection in place for you. So that's always a good option to make sure that you're not stepping on anyone else's toes if somebody else has come in here and created these views. So we're going to name this one E1002, and we're going to choose the left side instead of the right, and choose insert, walk through that. And again, as you're picking your components, the box just grows around each one of these items and fits into place. So pretty straightforward of doing a straight plan section elevation that goes along with the coordinate system. If something ever changes in your plan that the whole entire project needs to be rotated, or if you're working with, in this case here, we're going to take a look at one of the level bridles on this tower over on this side. With the level bridle being rotated, when we put our view in, it's not going to really line up. So if you're accustomed to cutting typical views, you got to get in there and do like a D-view twist and all that stuff. With ViewWorx, we make it super simple. So we, again, just start off with the name of it. We're going to set our offset. We're going to grow a little bit larger on this one. And in this case, we really only want the front view. We don't really care what it looks like from any other sides. And we're going to go ahead and once again, just select the component around this box. And you can see that it's inserted according to the world coordinate system. You can see if I hover over it, we tell you which which one. And all we have to do now is just rotate this guy in place. So go ahead and click the rotate option. We know that this nozzle off of this vessel is rotated at a 45 degrees, so we're going to choose our 45-degree option. And now when we go to create our drawings, this view is going to be perfectly aligned with that. So once your designers have gone through and saved all their views, created them, you're ready to start creating your drawing process out of this, you would go to the next step and then start dropping these in as you're going down that process. Let's go ahead and close this model out. And another example here we have, I've taken a look at the entire master model and looked at a key plan. So out of this key plan, we're going to need a drawing, like a plan drawing, of every one of these different sections in here. And with that key plan, we can go through and quickly create these views. So I've already gone ahead and done that for you. And once we have the views created, we just tell it which template to apply to and hit the create button. Now, as this is working in the background, what it's doing is taking every single one of these drawings or these views and creating a drawing for it. So whatever the view name is, we're going to create a drawing for that based off of this template. So this process of automation goes really well anytime you're looking for just very basic plan drawings, elevations, things like that. When we get into a little bit more control on the next step, you'll see how we can drag and drop some views during that process. But when you're looking at just creating mass amount of drawings for a plan or a key plan or anything like that, this process goes a long ways of just automating all of that. Now each one of these drawings, as it's creating them, it's going out and determining which one of the XREFs to bring in. So out of this entire master model, we don't need to bring in every XREF into these views over here. We can bring them in just for what's required, so that when people are working on annotating these drawings, the file size is as minimal as possible. So now that we've created them, let's go ahead and add them into your project. And if we come over to the AutoCAD Plant 3D Project Manager, we're going to see our orthographic drawing area. And let's go ahead and just copy these guys in so that we have access to them inside of the Plant 3D project. This part right here doesn't seem to take too much time, so we'll let that finish. But the nice thing about having them in your project is once they're in there, you'll be able to do all your typical publishing and things of that nature as you go through that process. Now, if we take a look at one of these drawings here, this 3007 is the same drawing that we were working with for the Area 1 of the exchangers. So we'll get this drawing opened up here and take a look at what we have done for you. All right, so if we look at this drawing here on the model space side, we've gone through, brought in all your XREFs. We've also created the viewport for you, so you don't have to go through and have a viewport in there. We've also locked it and set it to a specific scale. So the only thing left for your designers to do now is start annotating these things. So, huge time saver, taking out all those tedious tasks of going through, bringing in XREFs, zooming around a window, setting the scale, all that stuff, just knocked out for you right away. Let's go ahead and save and close this guy here. Then we're going to jump into creating some views through just the project manager itself. So again, we're going to go into the new drawing under the orthographics, and this seems to pop up on my other screen there. Let's create a drawing here called Exchanger Details. And this is where it comes in really handy anytime you can't really just automate that process of creating your views. So if we come into the Layouts tab here and look at any of our other models that we have out there, we can take a look at all the views that were created for us. So the master model has all those top views for our plans. We automated all that, so we don't need to worry about those. But when we're working with details, you might need a little bit more control over what you're inserting into every drawing. So by just creating a new drawing through the project, we have our template in place. And now we can just go through and select which views we want to insert. We choose the scale that goes along with that, and then use the insert option. And as we select them and insert them, it's going to go through and, again, bring in all of our XREFs. So you don't have to worry about finding which XREF belongs to here and going through the and sets it to a scale and then locks it. So very quick, very easy way to get all these detailed drawings in place. Let's go ahead and insert the left view here. Use some point filters to get this lined up with our previous viewport that we have. And wait for it to go through, see if there's any additional XREFs that need to be brought in with this view. If there are, it'll bring those in the background as well. And then now that we have these in place, again, all that's left for the designers to do is start annotating and working from there. So let's walk through that one more time with the level bridle here. So we'll create a new drawing. We'll call it level bridle. And we'll select our view, come down, select our scale, and let's get this guy inserted here. So very quick, very easy. You got your modelers go through. They decide what needs to have a detail, what doesn't need to have a detail. They simply create those views for somebody else to come back later on and drag and drop them into the drawing area for you. So very quick, very easy way to get this stuff done. And as we're doing this, again, this is all based off of an XREF. So if somebody comes out and changes the master model or changes any of the piping or equipment or steel or anything in any of your drawings, all the designer has to do is come through and reload an XREF, which, as you know, takes much less time than going through and regenerating all these ortho views. Once that part's finished, you can go ahead and annotate these, put some bubbles on them, do your dimensionings, things of that nature. At ECE, we do have some other tools that kind of assist with that. We've kind of tied in some of those with VIEWWorx. So on the last panel here, we got the ability to add in some bubbles and annotation. With that, it's pretty quick and easy to choose one of these options in here and then just start annotating these guys. So if I want to find the elevation of this piece of pipe right here on this nozzle, I just simply select that, drop in my annotation. All this annotation is customizable as well as being linked with the model. So if the model changes, we'll update and sync all that information for you as well. And same thing for this side over here, just a couple other pieces of information that we can tag. We can go ahead and grab any of the information out of these. So if there's a tag information that's been filled out, we'll grab it. It's a good notifier of letting you know, all right, some of this information has the tag filled out, some of it doesn't. And again, once it's already synced, all that information will start populating for you. But again, the main purpose of this was how to quickly generate these drawings. So as we kind of just talk about a quick recap, we've gone through the ability of creating our views for purpose. So every one of these can be easily created just by simply selecting objects and modifying that view as you need and see fit. Being able to automate the process of creating your drawings. So if you create a template, you can automate that very quickly and get all these drawings into your project manager for later use. And then finally, being able to take these detailed drawings and use what you need to out of them. So if you can't really automate which view to put on there, this is a great way to get that custom feel and touch for your guys' company, being able to drag and drop all these views and images in there.